podcast is a member of WildGamesProductions.com and D20Radio.com.
First there was the original.
I thought it might be nice for kids. Keep them off the street, you know.
Then the basic.
This is a simple game.
Then the first version of the advanced.
Good, clean, wholesome fun.
Now the hammer comes down. Welcome to THACO's Hammer, the podcast for 2nd edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons.
Hi, welcome back. We got another edition of THACO's Hammer, all 2E all the time. And with me this time I'm DM Glenn, and with me is DM Brian.
Hello.
Hello. And we have a special guest today, DM Crispy.
Do you like chili peppers, Glenn?
Oh, they burn my gut. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you like Mrs. Crispy?
I always try to, I forget the line from Airplane. When he's in the cockpit.
Oh, yes. You really like gladiator pictures, really?
Is that it? Yeah.
Or something like that.
Have you ever seen a grown man naked? Yeah.
Okay, before we get too out of hand, let's go into hits and grits.
What do you feel like doing tonight?
I don't know, Ange. What do you feel like doing?
Oh, we ought to do something at Saturday night. I don't want to go bowling like last Saturday. Oh, what do you feel like doing tonight?
I don't know, Ange. What do you feel like doing?
Hits and crits.
Okay, hits and crits. Brian, what you been doing gaming lately?
Oh, still working on my Mystara campaign. Just,
yay.
I'm a little distressed as to how much work I still have to actually do. Still converting over old characters I have from like the early 80s to 2nd edition. So that's what I've been doing.
Okay, cool. And how about you, Crispy? What's up game-wise with you?
Well, for those who don't know, I'm a host of the Save or Die podcast with Glenn.
Once in a while. When we open the door.
I have to bang and beg. I bring cookies, and they're like, he brought us cookies. We got to let him on.
Yeah, you're not like Julie, who goes, am I on this week? Am I on this week? Am I on this week? Anyway.
But then I also play in a 1st edition weekly podcast run by DM Vince from Roll. The Quest for the Book of Sorrows.
Yes, and that's just about ready to wrap up, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm excited. There's some weird stuff going on.
And then Vince is going to start another Skype game, a special super duper with a cherry on top D&D game that he's keeping under wraps right now until he plans to unveil it.
Yeah.
Are you going to be doing that?
I am. I'm thinking about playing a magic user this time around. So
okay. I'll probably be out of my stage show by then, and I could probably hook up and do it too. That'd be fun.
That would be interesting.
Me, I've just been buying splat books. Got the Arms and Equipment Guide, got the Campaign Sourcebook and Catacomb Guide, and the Complete Book of Necromancers.
How'd you get your hands? Hold. First question.
Yeah.
How much did you pay?
Necromancers?
Yes.
$25.
That's list price.
No, it's not. List price is $15.
Really?
That's right. MSRP at the time. No, excuse me, 18.
Okay, that sounds right.
18.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, I got it at half price. I mean, I get like I've told you before, I got it at half price. I usually pay $6 to $8 for these. 25 are going. Look, they're all out of print. What's the deal? He says, well, you're paying the low end of eBay. And I went home and looked on eBay. Yeah, he's right. They start at 30.
Yeah. Yeah, like I've been saying, that's the rarest one of the splat books. So there's been a big premium on that book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and don't tell Corey I got the Celts campaign book.
Well, he's gonna hear this, so the cat's out of the bag.
Well, that's true, but I can like be in another state by then.
By the time he hears it, he'll have no idea where Glenn is, so Glenn will be safe at least until he gets.
Yeah. Oh, he's down in the basement. Okay. He's hiding near the radiator there. And that's what I've been doing. So we've got a special show today, and we're going to, well, let's get over to Getting Out of Dodge, and we'll tell you all about it.
Oh, boy.
This is it. This is what? If I take one more step, it'll be the farthest away from home I've ever been.
Getting Out of Dodge.
Getting Out of Dodge. We have a special show this week, and this is why we have Crispy, because he's an expert on this. What is it, Crispy?
Don't say expert. They're going to lynch me when I get stuff wrong.
Authority. How about that?
Subjective term, perhaps?
Enthusiast?
Professor.
There you go.
Enthusiast about...
BirthRight.
Boom, boom, boom.
For those of you who don't know, BirthRight is a Dungeons & Dragons campaign setting that was first released by TSR in 1995. The setting is based on the world of Abranus, on the continent of Cyrilia, in which the players take on the roles of divinely empowered rulers, with emphasis on the political rulership level of gameplay.
And this is a recording.
Mr. Movie Vote.
Wow.
Okay.
Press 1 now.
Now, tell us about this world. What makes it different from, say, the Forgotten Realms?
Well, it doesn't... I'm not going to get into that.
Hey.
Well, okay,
nice.
All right, how is it different from Mystara?
I don't actually know that much about Mystara.
How is it different from the normal campaign world? How about that?
All right. So in BirthRight, you play characters or not, but it's in the setting, who have like these supernaturally imbued powers that they draw from the land and the people that they rule.
Wrath of the Immortals.
Yeah, it's a very cool kind of, well, not quite. It's a very cool kind of thing. It's like Highlander, the D&D campaign setting.
Okay.
Yeah. It even has that Celtic influence as well. So.
Yeah. Okay. I got a different impression off of it. I mean, just looking at the box and stuff, I never really delved into it. I thought BirthRight. I'm going, oh great, we're all playing royals. Oh, that's real exciting.
Well, you don't have to play royals, but you do. There's a little bit of benefit if you do.
Okay, I thought it was just like castle intrigue and stuff like that.
Oh no. There's more to it than that. You can play. There's a lot of different levels. You can play on the kind of local scale where you're adventurers who have these special powers, or you could play. They're called regents, which are like high priests or anyone who kind of has a kingdom or a duchy or a thieves guild even. So anyone who is in charge of something draws power from what they're in charge of, whether it be like faith of your followers or the riches of your guild or how many fiefs you have.
Okay. How do the player characters fit in? In other words, how do you make us a character? How would you go about doing it in BirthRight?
Well, first you roll 3d6 or 4d6 depending on your preference, and then you can either roll your hit die.
Chris, this is the internet, but I'm going to learn to reach my hand through and slap you. Now.
Basically, you make normal characters. It's not a very kit-heavy game. In fact, because you get so many special things within the box set itself, it actually kind of suggests not using kits because it might unbalance the game as it is already. But you roll a percentile, and that gives you like if you're going to be blooded or not, and then you roll for how strong your bloodline is, and I think it's minor, major, and great, and it's all a percentile, and that's how many powers you get or how strong your bloodline abilities are.
Pardon me for saying this, but this is sounding like the D&D version of Gamma World.
Not quite. So the history of the campaign setting is that, like, I think it's like 100, 200 years ago, something like that. I'm probably wrong. There was this war where the dark god Azrai came and he gathered up all the elves and the monsters, because elves are actually kind of... they're very different in this. They're very alien and fey, and they don't trust humans. Yeah. And he took them and he started a war against the good peoples. So the gods came down to fight with them, and it went to Mount Deismar, And that at the summit of this mountain, they had a great battle, and all the great gods, like all the good gods, sorry, they're great. All the good gods banded together and actually destroyed themselves, and that helped to destroy the Dark One. So all of the gods just basically self-destruct, and it
was like a tac nuke against him.
Yeah, basically.
That's what sounds like to me. Yeah.
What happened was that their divine essence, because of this great wave, spread out across all their followers. And people developed these strange powers derived from which gods whose blood they absorbed. And then the champions of those gods became the new gods.
Okay. That answers my next question. I was saying, okay, if there's no gods, what do you do about deities? But okay, fine. It's like fantasy dialed up to 11.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Kind of. It's not for a second edition campaign. I would say yes, but compared to say third or even fourth edition, definitely not.
Okay. Now, how what am I trying to say? How prone is this campaign world to like power trips, min-maxing, going like way off the rails power-wise?
Well, it really depends. Like your bloodlines, by the book, you don't get to choose what blood you're derived from. So you don't get to choose what powers you get. You get to roll, and then your DM gets to say, okay, you're from this guy. And then you roll again, and he goes, okay, you have these powers. And then you get to know like what your god is about and what your powers are about.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's by the book. And of course, if you're playing with an experienced group, they're gonna be like, oh, I know all about this stuff, so I'm gonna go
find out what X god you derive your powers from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does that mean you have to follow that god or whatever new god that took their place?
No.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't have to follow, like, if you have, I can't remember his name, but if you have like the god of the forest, if you have his powers, you don't have to follow Eric, the new god of the forest. You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
In fact, you don't even have to be like a druid or anything like that. You just get these added powers.
Interesting.
So if I got the powers of, say, the god of death, and I wanted to be a ranger, there wouldn't be a conflict there.
No. Well, the thing is you're choosing your class and skills and stuff before you get your bloodline powers.
Okay.
They're like an add-on.
Well, still, that'd make it real interesting. Interesting.
Sure. Absolutely. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you imagine that?
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. One last question. I'm going to yield the floor to Brian here. What's the state of psionics in this world?
There are no psionics in this world.
I like this place
In fact,
already.
they say don't use psionics, or if you do, they're not from this continent. They're from somewhere across the sea.
Okay.
Wow.
You know, it'd be interesting. Do a combination of BirthRight, Oriole, and Adventures campaign.
That would be pretty cool, actually.
From like this shogun with magical powers shows up, and
because that'd
be cool.
The thing with psionics is if you introduce psionics into your campaign, you then have to, like, if you have a player who's psionic, you have to go, okay, now I have to make all these psionic villains from the fight, or these psionic enemies, and it's a lot of headache.
Well, the way they redid psionics in second edition, it's like, a lot of the abilities, get the victim gets a saving throw against them now. It's not automatic like it was in, like, say, first edition.
Yeah.
So I stay away from psionics in any edition.
Me too.
You all have no sense of adventure.
Well, that comes from I got all my books. Like I found BirthRight in a used bookstore when I was first getting into D&D, and I saw this box, and the box has like this great big battle scene on it, and big red letters with a sword going through them. It says BirthRight. So I'm like, oh, this looks really cool. So I picked it up, and I picked up my first edition books around the same time. And the reason I don't like psionics is because I was trying to read this in the first edition book, and I'm like, what the is going on here?
No, I understand it. It is pretty tough. Although they made an attempt to streamlined and simplified in second edition, but they didn't really get it right until almost the end. Or at least in my opinion, that's how it is.
Yeah. Okay. One major thing I forgot about. What about, speaking of enemies, what about the monsters?
Well, you've got standard monsters. You've got goblins. You don't have orcs. You have a race of people called the Aurochs, which are pretty much the same. Like they're different enough. And then there's one group of monsters, which we're going to talk about later, called the Onshaelin, which are basically tainted, blooded rulers.
Ah, okay. Something, and I'm sure they got real fun undead in there too.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah,
liches would get a pretty big power upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way: the Death Knights are the low end.
Really?
Yeah.
Considering the discussion we had about that, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds like it, and I'm sure dragons are really something to be feared in that world.
They have their own type of dragon, actually.
Really?
Yeah, there's a Cerulean dragon, which I believe is actually less powerful.
Oh, okay. Okay, but you can put the regular, color dragons in there, too, can't you?
Yeah, you probably could.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking at the major adversaries. You've got dragons. Fewer than 24 have ever been known to exist, so they are a very rare thing. But they all belong to a single species.
Okay.
Then you've got giants, which are actually a pretty big part of the campaign. You have the Cerulean giants, and they're like elemental creatures. And then you have gnolls and goblins, orogs, and then there's like a list of standard fair monsters. That you can
aside from what we're talking about, there's not very many unique monsters to that world.
Not really. Besides giants.
I can understand why the giants would be pretty major in there. So I think that kind of epic scale, I start thinking of like the Norse pantheon where they're fighting the giants and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds right to me.
Okay. Well, that gives us a good base. Why don't we go on to people skills?
The face is familiar.
It's mine.
And so it is.
Oh, yes, of course. It stands out a mile, doesn't it? He's so common.
A little lady comes in here and starts throwing her butt around. What is that supposed to do?
All right, forget I said anything.
Maybe I will.
Well, that's pretty good.
Don't tell me you weren't looking at it.
Well, that's not half bad.
She's giving it right back to you.
People skills.
Okay, people skills. Scions. Scions. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
Okay, and they are?
It's a type of car. Recently came out.
I knew he was going to do it.
Zoom.
I couldn't resist.
I was just sitting back. I'm like, okay, 3, 2, 1, and you didn't disappoint me.
Well, I hate to disappoint. Scions are basically they're the blooded descendants of the people who absorbed power on Mount Dizmar.
Okay, the player characters then?
Player characters, yeah.
Okay.
And oops, sorry about that. I just knocked over a soda can. Probably heard that. And you don't have to play blooded characters. You don't have to do that. You can play normal people as well.
Oh, okay. I thought they'd be out of I thought you had to play a blooded one, otherwise you'd be like.
You don't have to, but there are definite benefits to playing the blooded characters.
I figured.
And drawbacks, I would think.
Yeah, there are limitations, right?
Yeah, people are going to try to kill you all the time so that they can take your power.
Oh, like Highlander, they can.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, Highlander.
Yeah, there's the Highlander influence. Okay, cool.
Okay, I can see where they're coming from on this world. Okay.
It doesn't have to involve a beheading, right? Though.
I don't think so.
Okay.
You have to. I think there's a chance that you'll absorb it, but if you have a special type of silver called Temeril, and you kill someone with that, your chances increase. I should have looked it up beforehand because it's been a while since I've read about that.
So Scions are blooded characters with the special powers, and what? Okay, I know you said elves are kind of different.
Elves are different, yeah. Elves are like alien fey elves, not like ruthless fey elves, not like Christmas elves or Lord of the Rings elves.
Okay, so is there an elf player character class?
Yeah, you can be an elf.
Okay.
There's only one type of elf though. That's the Cerulean elf.
Okay. So there's like elves, dwarves, gnomes.
Yeah. No gnomes. You have humans, elves, dwarves, and halflings, and orogs.
And all the what, half orogs?
Possibly. I guess that's really up to your DM.
Okay. And all these could be blooded.
Yes.
Okay. Now
Interesting.
Now a blooded dwarf, I would probably be interested in playing that. That probably get some kind of creation power as far as like their skills and underground and all that kind of stuff. What about you, Brian? How would you feel about playing one of these?
I probably. The thing is that when I'm playing in a new system, and basically, at least to the limited exposure I've had to BirthRight, it is pretty much a new system, even though it's under second edition rules.
Right.
I'd probably go with the simplest thing in the world. I'd probably take just either a regular human fighter or a blooded human fighter, and just go from there, just to get a feel for it. Because with every, this is just something I've noticed over like the last 10 years I've been playing, is that if I'm not familiar with the way a certain campaign world or certain set of rules work, and I'm just kind of, fumbling around in the dark trying to figure it out, I usually go with the simplest set of skills or the simplest class to run.
Yeah, me too. Hand me a fighter, I'll go. Maybe magic user once in a while, but mostly, give me human fighter. That's fine. So as far as like these characters,
excuse me.
What am I trying to say? Levels. Now, where do they max out at, and how hard is it to gain levels in this game?
It's pretty much standard as it is in the AD&D game, except for wizards. Wizards are pretty different.
Are they?
Yeah. And you gain more benefits, like if you're a fighter and you're a regent, you actually start with bodyguards, and you've got things like you start with heavy infantry, and you get 4d6 plus 10 of these.
Ooh,
They're all 0-level fighters with 1d4 plus 4 hit points each.
That's
like, yeah, you do get but they won't go, they can go adventuring with you. You don't replenish them though, is the thing.
Right.
So if your followers or your bodyguards die, that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay. So basically, I'm just got an idea off the top of my head. So basically, if you get, you get these followers, and, basically you kind of have to give them, especially if you're adventuring, you kind of have to give them something to do while you're away, I would think, because I can't see any DM worth his salt letting, say, a third level fighter or whatever bring his entire retinue of followers with him. Excuse me, like 20, 30 guys, just, unless there's like some skirmishes or some battles to be fought that they need numbers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That was just a thought I had.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that these troops are also accounted for, like when you're divvying up experience points for people involved, they count as well. So it's like,
oh, good.
You can take your troops with you. You 46 plus 10, that's 13 and a half. You're looking at like 15 people, plus 10, so 25.
Right.
So, and you've got a party of 4. That's 29 people on this adventure.
Right.
That's true.
So it's like, have fun, not leveling.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
You need
ahead.
what, 1,500 experience points to reach second level? I don't remember off the top of my head.
As a fighter, it's 2,000.
2,000.
2,000.
Yeah, so 2,000 experience points. I mean, have a lot of fun. Carrying all these guys around with you, but you don't have to pay them, and their upkeep for housing and stuff. That's all included in your. If you're a regent, you only get these if you're a regent, by the way, which is a blooded character who holds some sort of land, or title, or power, or guild.
So you could play a blooded character who just wants to go off adventuring with his fellow.
Exactly, and that's a scion.
Yeah, that's the scion. Okay, got it. Well, this doesn't sound as overpowering as I thought it would. You know, I had
it's
images of like Immortals rules and high level campaigns and all this other, you know, punching out Cthulhu and all that kind of crap. You know?
No, it seems to me that it's tiered. Meaning, if you wanted to just go around and be an adventurer and amass experience and power and gold and whatever, you could do that. But you could also take steps up and say, okay, I'm a little tired of doing that, so I want a piece of land, I want a stronghold, and I want to be able to build this up from nothing into my own kingdom. You know, just go the Conan the Barbarian route, really.
Yeah.
Conan the Barbarian.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's an added, it's, from my point of view, and I'm not as well-versed in second edition as you guys, but in my view, it's basically, it's 2E with an added layer of complexity and depth.
That's what it sounds like. I mean, heading towards 3 kind of thing. But
yeah, I can see that.
It's not. It's different. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah, well, it's not as different as, like, say, Dark Sun.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
We're not talking Dark Sun different.
Yeah, I'll save my opinion for that when we get around to talking about it, because yeah, I do have some rather strong opinions about Dark Sun. That's for sure.
Oh, that's going to be a fun show.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Did you guys know that there are 46 Dark Sun products released by TSR?
46.
46.
Is that
I know
including?
because I
including
sorted them.
Oh,
that includes adventures and modules.
Wow.
That's almost as much as 4th edition D&D basic books.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
I was at the game store today, and I was just like, 2 full racks. And they all look the same, and I'm going, I wouldn't even know where to begin.
There's like 3 players' handbooks. There's 2 martial power books: divine power, psionic power, arcane power. Like it's insane. With
and then there's the essentials, which is like 10 other books. It's a different kind of line.
The essentials is basically, they dialed it back with everything you need to play, and it's supposedly compatible. I'm actually kind of interested in it. Like, I'm not. I play, you know, Pathfinder and basic D&D.
Well,
with a little 1st edition on the side.
Well, what it looks like to me is like, remember when they got away, they got rid of basic and you know, okay, advanced is just D&D. Sounds like they're trying to split the line again.
Yeah, they are.
Back into basic and advanced, which, other than the fact that I don't like the game, I applaud them.
Yeah, well, I think it's a case of too little, too late now.
Pretty much. I
yeah,
mean,
they've pissed off too many people with how they've just gone, you know, complete. I mean, they've not done it once, but now they've done it technically 3 times, where they take what's there, and instead of saying, okay, let's ease this into the next thing, and instead of that, it's just basically just basically drawing a line in the sand, saying
hard stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
yeah, I looked on the game board, and there's a guy saying, we're going to play a red box game here at 1:00 every Sunday. And I said, well, what's going on? They never show up. Nobody ever wants to play. What do you mean it's red box? No, it's 4th edition red box. Oh.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And it doesn't get any cheaper either.
No, it don't. No, it do
well,
not.
The books are the essential books are cheaper, but like they're gonna just keep releasing new variations. So.
Anyway, we're getting off topic here.
Yeah, we're way off track.
Way off topic. Scions, let me know what you think of them. Give us a call at 405-806-0555, or you can drop us a line at thacoshammer@gmail.com, or you can go on the Dragon's Foot 2nd Edition forum and drop us a line, or you can go on purpleworm.org, the 2nd Edition website.
Yes.
And now we have Magic Fingers.
Eeny, meeny, chili beanie, the spirits are about to speak.
Well, it just so happens that your friend here is only mostly dead.
Sounds like a lot of supernatural baloney to me.
Supernatural, perhaps. Baloney, perhaps not.
Magic Fingers.
Okay, magic fingers. I noticed the topic is priests in BirthRight. Now, how does that go? Take it, Crispy. Tell us
Only humans can be priests.
Really?
Yes.
Wow,
Elves.
that's interesting. Just
Yeah.
on the surface. Okay.
Divine magic is a pretty cool. I'm sorry, I'm flipping through my book here.
That's okay. That's okay. You flip.
So every priest character in BirthRight campaign must choose one that's early and blah blah blah. Oh, I'm sorry, I am wrong. Dwarves and half-elf. Dwarf, half-elves, halfling, and human. Elves are the only ones who can't be priests.
Ah, okay, that makes more sense.
They're probably more wrapped up in the arcane stuff.
They don't believe in. It's like like I was saying, elves are very different. The way they're built, they don't believe in the divine gods.
Really?
Like they have nature spirits, but they're like Puck and Oberon. They're from the Fey realm.
Oh, that kind of Fey. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the Celian, Uncelian, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly,
Okay.
and that's actually another source book that I don't think they ever got to release. Was basically the Unseelie elves. Like they talked about
Yeah, see, that would have been really interesting.
It is. It's actually really, really interesting. I love BirthRight elves. They're basically the elves I use in all my games. Because I'm a big fat plagiarizer.
Really? Sounds like fun. And we have we have all the different kind of priests like any other D&D game, right?
Yeah. And you basically have all your different gods and you gain your powers from them, and they have their domains. Sorry. I think that's yeah.
That's about
It's weird. You have domains and then you have like BirthRight domains. Very confusing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're spheres of influence.
Okay.
It's kind of
Yeah, that's right. Second edition calls them spheres. Domains is a
third edition term.
Yeah.
Yeah. That other company.
I play too much D&D, guys. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Don't we all?
But wait a minute. There's no such thing. It's just a matter of your physical stamina, whether you can support your habit or not. That's all.
And age.
And age.
Some of us like to go to bed at night and sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
I've
days of 24-hour gaming have long since passed.
Yes. So priests of BirthRight, are they? How do they affect the world? Do they affect the world in any particular way? Is it more weighted towards the priests, or?
Well, priests are interesting because they're on the battle, that killed the old gods and brought in the new ones. Priests were the deciding factor.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because they had healing magic and, like columns of holy fire that they call down from the sky.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And since elves don't practice priestly magic because they can't, that was the deciding factor. There were more elves, and the elves were stronger.
So they could trump the elves, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With the stuff. Okay, I understand. So they're a little more revered.
They are. And you have all your different gods, and all the gods are very different.
Okay. But, I started thinking about it. Priests, I thought they'd be devalued because you get all these blooded people running around with God's powers, parts of God's powers and stuff.
Yeah, well, there are like there's things like there's a regeneration power that only like the god of lawful good and the dark god and then Rainier, who I can't remember what he's the god of. They're the only bloodlines that get that, and that's the ability to regenerate damage and lost limbs. Like if you're blinded, you can regain your eyesight in 100 days, depending on how strong the bloodline is.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, you also get resistance to different things.
Okay.
Reading it real quick. And different gods get different resistances.
Yeah. So the priesthood isn't cheapened by having actually like almost demigods running around.
No, and your priests can also be demigods.
They can be blooded too. That's right.
If you have a priest who has a temple or a cathedral or something like that, he gains power, and
plus from his followers.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And the more followers you have, or the bigger your temple, the more power you get.
Okay, so they're a major player in this world.
They are.
Okay.
They're just as much of a player as the Catholic Church or the kings of the realm as well.
Okay, king has to listen to somebody, I guess.
Yep.
Well, that sounds great. If you guys use these priests, let us know at the usual places. Let's talk about Rule 0.
One would think you've been doing this all your life.
We'll remember you said that.
I know. I'm sure you hate me just enough.
Rule 0.
Rule 0. This week we have domain design in BirthRight. Wow.
Shocking.
Shocking. So this kind of now domains we're talking about, like what we were just talking about, priests. Are we talking about that kind of domain? Like spheres of influence, things like that? Or
yeah, we're talking about your thieves guilds, your lordships, your mercantile guilds,
Okay. Keeps and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, domain design. Now, being from old school D&D, I figured I get up to like level 20, I retire to I get a barony, or I make a keep, or I do whatever the hell. Is this the same thing as that?
You can start with a domain at first level. There any land that you roll, any holdings that you have, say if you're like a merchant or an investor, any temples that you're affiliated with.
If you're a druid, any forest you overlook,
mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. Okay. Yeah. Wizards' towers, all that kind of crap.
So basically, if you look, there's 3 books for BirthRight. There's the Atlas of Cerealia, which is the history of BirthRight and where the lands are. Then there's the Ruins of an Empire, which is basically a directory of all the different places, and it has like where you can have holdings and whatnot. And then the rule book, and the Ruins of the Empire is where you'll find your directory, and you can make of like where's what and what you can rule. Mm-hmm. And there are rules for making your own domain, but like if you're gonna play a priest, you're probably going to have a temple or a church or something like that.
Right.
Unless you're like maybe a cardinal or something like that. And then if you're a king, you'll own a village. Or
you got your castle and
huge tracts of land.
Land, yes. We're built on a bloody swamp. We need all the land we can get.
Stop singing!
Oh dear. Okay, can we please cease with the Python, please? Please? This is
a D&D podcast. Of course not.
I guess it's something I must tolerate. Okay, anyway. So...
Look, I do Python, but I do choice bits of Python.
Thank goodness.
So. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I was saying, so... Even with say you have say you start off as a first level cleric who isn't blooded. Now basically, well, actually, let me take that back. Being a cleric in a particular faith, you can go from anything from the newly ordained acolyte all the way up to say like someone in, say, I hate to use the term, but middle management. Yeah.
Like a bishop?
Yes, like a bishop, yes. And say he's being sent out to a certain area to found a church and to spread that particular faith in that area. Would that be making the creation of a domain?
Well, if he's not blooded, he doesn't, like, he gets holding and land, and he progresses through his faith, but it's not technically a domain.
Right.
Okay.
What makes a domain is that you draw power from it and you get your domain turns.
So he's just a landlord at that point.
Pretty much, yeah. Like he's got power within his faith and whatnot, but he doesn't get the kind of divine bond to the land and to the people that a regent gets.
Because he's not blooded.
Because he's not blooded.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see.
So how do you design a domain then? Say you're a freshly minted character.
Well, you don't. You'll get your domain.
Do you roll it? Is there a chart or what?
You can pick, or I think there's a chart as well. But you can pick where your holding is and what it comprises of, and of course it does start out small, and you build it. Right. So you have, say you want to go adventuring. You go adventuring. At some point during this, I think it's built in 3-month periods, something like that.
Yeah.
You have what's called the domain turn.
Uh-huh.
So basically, for this, you determine what happens over that 3-month period. Who gets to act first? You get to determine your domain initiative, and then
Now we're playing Civilization.
Yeah, basically,
Yes.
it's there's a very RTS kind of element to this. So you go and you collect your regency points. You know, if you keep up your domain and if you expand or if you do something significant that helps to power and move forward your domain's goals or whatever, you get more regency points, and you can use those points to make bigger and better domains.
I see.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like second edition meets RTS meets Risk.
Yeah. It's a very cool kind of game, and you
Yeah,
have like
sounds cool.
there's a whole different. The domain turn is different from say your adventuring. This is where, and you don't have to do this. You can play blooded characters that aren't regents, but if you're playing regents, this is like an added benefit that you get to do, an added step in the game.
Right.
So then you can collect your taxes or collect goods or trade goods or whatever, and then you pay your maintenance costs for your domain. And then
I see.
you get free actions, which are like, I want to move troops in here. I want to train more soldiers, blah, 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 stuff like that.
Okay.
Right.
And then say if you want to go to war with someone, you can do that after that. Or if you want to maybe send spies in to kind of collect info on your enemies, you can do that. And then you get to repeat it one more time again, because like I was saying, it's a 3-month period. And then you get to adjust your loyalties and your regencies.
Okay.
Right.
And then, there is random events that happen, like, let me actually go ahead and turn to that table. Blood challenges, say another ruler comes and they want to kill you so they can take your power. Assassination, a festival, a feud, a natural disaster, or boon, like say you're in a drought from a natural disaster.
Wow.
Finally, you get that break in the rain. And then, you can do diplomatic matters. Someone wants to start a truce with you. There's a shadow from the west growing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sauron gathers power. Nothing happens yet.
No, I was just saying, these are the kind of things that have not been really touched upon in the original game when a character gets to say his name level and he actually builds a stronghold and then goes from there.
The only other place I saw this is in the Metzer in the Rule Cyclopedia.
Yes. Yes.
They actually had a section there about, name level and retiring and what they do, and they set up their barony or whatever. This is the only other place I've seen it, which is kind of interesting.
Yes.
It's like
I like this.
Yeah, let's ignore it until we do BirthRight,
I will, as I was reading more, I will bring up something that you might not like.
What's that?
Okay.
With regent characters, because I know you guys were like, is this overpowered? If you are a regent, you do gain 10 extra bonus hit points. So
Really?
if you're a 7, if you have like 7 hit points, you'll jump up to 17.
That's okay.
And the other thing is, you either gain a mount in any non-magical weapon and armor that you want, or a magic item rolled at random.
Okay, that's not
and then
so
you
bad.
have wealth.
Who wants to be a paladin? I just want to be a regent. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
And you could be a regent paladin as well.
Yeah,
so.
yes, you
and
can.
Regents can go adventuring. But then the flip side for being an unblooded character, though, is that you gain an extra 15% experience.
Oh, I see. So, it's the unblooded advance faster, but the blooded have more powers and abilities.
They're
Definitely.
They're throwing the unblooded a bone. Okay.
Oh,
and I mean, really, if you're gonna play BirthRight, I don't see the point personally in not playing blooded characters.
I agree. There's a lot more. It seems to me there's just a lot more that's interesting as to what you can do with that character as he progresses along.
Right.
But at the same time, there is sort of like the appeal to kind of playing Samwise Gamgee to someone else's Frodo, if you understand what I mean. So,
Frodo to somebody else's Gandalf or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a better analogy. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a better
I was
one.
thinking Samwise to Aragorn, but
Aragorn, you want to know what? I mean, it's like I've said, I'll say it again. I haven't read the books. I can't read the books. But just seeing how everyone... You know what? You're right about that, because I was thinking about how the hobbits held Aragorn in such awe because he was a ranger.
Yeah.
Well, it's not only that, but Aragorn, I think, fits best in this world because like he didn't have all the powers of a blood. He was like a blooded, but he didn't have all the power. But he was part of the Dunedain.
Yes.
Were the ancient race, and he is extremely long lived.
Yes.
He was like what, 150 at that point?
Really?
I thought it was 80.
Or 80. All right, he was 80 at that point, and
Really?
who knows how long they live. So that would be his power.
Well, that would be good since he took an elf as his wife.
Yeah, true.
You know,
I don't know why her father didn't figure that into the equation.
I don't think they never touched on that in the movie.
Yeah,
that they used that as like just a
throwaway.
Not even throwaway, just the point of just to support his argument.
Uh-huh.
Because he all up until a certain point in those movies, he's trying to break them apart. Because he's never approved of Aragorn past a certain point,
right.
Especially not to marry his daughter.
Right.
But okay, we're getting way off the track again.
Yeah, he admires, but yeah, okay. Well, domain design, fascinating subject, like all the other things here. Take a look at BirthRight if you can about domain design. You got any ideas? Give us a call, write us, and let's go into snipe hunt. We got a snipe.
Time to hunt some snipes.
Yeah.
If you only had a living brain.
What do you think? Escaped gorilla?
Listen, you're making enough noise to wake up the dead.
I don't have to wake him up. He's up.
It's time for a snipe hunt.
Snipe hunt, another BirthRight, a BirthRight monster that I cannot pronounce.
The Onshaelin.
Yes.
Onshaelin. That sounds very Celtic.
It is.
I'm proud of myself because I pronounced it correctly the first time I read it.
Well, let me reach through the internet and pat you on the back.
Oh,
and slap me in the face.
No, I'm not going to slap you in the face.
It's only 18 inches from a kick.
So this is the Onshaelin, is it?
Onshaelin.
Onshaelin, is it? So what does it do?
The Onshaelin is a type of creature.
Onshaelin, hit him with my shillelagh and dice. Anyway, go ahead.
They are the inheritors of the Dark One, or Azrai, who's basically Sauron. They're the inheritors of his bloodlines. And they're these kind of like terrible, evil to the core mutated creatures that have all these like terrible deformities. Like
now, this is like a race, and not just like, say, 12 ring wraiths or something like that, right?
They're like it's more like a template.
Okay.
Than anything.
Okay, it's like a kit.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's something that they get, and I think it would be really interesting if anyone has any ideas, or if they've ever done this, if they've played any evil character that became an Onshaelin.
So are these undead?
They are not undead. They are, I guess the best way I could describe them would be magic creatures.
Okay.
That makes any sense?
Okay.
You have things like the big ones that come in the box set are the Gorgon. Then you have Rove Manslayer, who's an elf who more history. And during the battle, elves joined with Azrai, but during the battle they had a change of heart, except for a few. Rove Manslayer was one of them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're these like terrible tortured creatures who have gone through like this soul blackening mutations. Like, and they just become less and less human over time as they commit more and more evil deeds.
Hi, I'm a Death Knight, and this is my weird brother, the Onshaelin.
See, the thing is though that any Onshaelin would just kick the shit out of a Death Knight.
I'm looking at it. I'm like, yeah, these guys are no joke.
These guys are the final bosses of BirthRight.
Okay, we're talking about like if you have a big bad, these be the dragon. These would be the Darth Vader.
These are the Emperor Palpatines.
Okay, these are the Palpatines. Got it. Okay, and they rule over a certain domain.
They rule over their own domains. Like you have, there's one called the Spider, who was a goblin who was he was always a little bit evil. He liked to torture creatures, but over time he became, after he absorbed the blood of Azrai, he became more and more evil and more spider-like.
Okay. So how tough are we talking here? How many hit dice and all that kind of stuff?
For the 13 for the Spider.
Yeah, sure. Just okay for him.
For him, he's got 13. Then you have the Gorgon, which is a. Sorry, I'm looking at it.
It's okay.
He's a 25th level wizard. Sorry, 25th level fighter, 16th level wizard. He's got a THACO of -4.
Yikes.
And that's the base, and a -8 of with his strength.
So we're talking a minimum of 10 hit dice here for an Schwagen, it sounds like.
Yeah, pretty much. And like not all of them are evil. There's one called the Sea Drake, who was like a merchant who fell into the water and didn't drown. Instead he turned into this he was a greedy merchant that fell into one of the lake or an ocean or something like that, and if you give him money, he'll be like, all right, he just wants tribute from people.
Yeah.
Right.
And I believe he hates pirates. I think I remember reading up about that. And he is a 15 hit die creature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. These things are nasty, but they're really, really cool because like you can center your whole campaign about them.
Gotcha.
Like, say you want to amass an army, and it's going to take like a group of adventurers can't fight these things.
Right. Oh no,
they can't. So it's really, you can get into the political intrigue of like forming alliances and different troops and whatnot to go and kind of maybe take over one of their domains.
The Fellowship and the armies going after Sauron. Okay, yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
and they're all really like, except Rove Manslayer, because he's just kind of an a-hole. They're all pretty tragic.
They always got to have one in a group, you know?
Dude just hates humans.
Good.
But like his skin turned to stone, and like these guys are they're nasty creatures.
Wow. Unbelievable. Sounds like a lot of fun, though. You're right. He'd be the BBEG. These would be the BBEG.
That would be sort of like, like we
were saying last time. It was like, they'd be the campaign ender.
Yeah, they're really they're the
climax.
final boss of BirthRight.
Yeah.
And there are more, as they released more adventures, they kind of expanded into the territories and like what on Shaylin live in what territories.
Okay. How do you feel about using on Shaylin in, say, a regular D&D campaign?
That would be. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It'd be interesting. Like they're all really, really tainted. Like their bloodlines.
Right.
At least like 90%.
Okay.
So like they do rely a lot on having these different special powers, but I guess if you give them maybe a little more experience, like how the way basic handles it, you get like an asterisk. And every asterisk is like
that's an attack. Yeah.
With each special ability, you get basically with second edition, you calculate the monster's hit dice, that's the base amount. Then every special ability they have is like a modifier, which pushes it further and further along.
So it's the same way, okay.
Yeah. So basically, you would this would be for your high level play. A monster for your high level play, like 20 plus.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say if you wanted to end your campaign with a bang and have your characters who've been adventuring all this time and they're like almost
you killed the Tarrasque, the Death Knight, you're now 20th level. Allow me to introduce you to
Yeah, guess what I've got in my back pocket.
Yeah. This is next time. Aren't we gonna have fun?
Yeah, you thought this was over? Ha 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 ha, fools. Anyway,
I got one more for you.
Yeah.
See if you can survive this one.
Yeah. Okay, on Shaylin. Look at him, try it out. I just thought, people out there might want to use him for their campaigns, BirthRight or not.
Yeah.
And sure, why not? We got one more section actually. We got one more section we want to talk about here.
Okay.
That is DM's rag.
Well, that's quite a story.
I think it would be fun to run a newspaper.
And here it comes, right over the old plate.
The DM's rag.
Okay, I decided to put DM's rag in here because I want to know about BirthRight Adventures.
Okay.
How would you build? I mean, for far as I know, there's not a whole lot of modules for BirthRight. I don't think I've seen anything in Dungeon Magazine either.
I don't think there was a lot of like the thing with BirthRight. It's such a sad story is it only existed from 1995 to 1999.
Wow.
And it was it was a back burner product. They didn't really develop a lot for it.
Is this like one of their? They thought, oh, it's a failure, let's kill it.
Well, it was super popular. Like, I guess I should talk about the BirthRight.net.
Okay.
And the BRCS before we get into the adventures.
Okay.
People are still making stuff for BirthRight. It still has tons of fan support. There's a wiki on BirthRight.net. That basically it has like 15,000 articles on it.
Wow.
For different terms and stuff like that. And there's a fan document. The fans of BirthRight actually went to Wizards of the Coast and said, "Hey, we know you're not doing anything with this. We want to keep it alive. We want to keep continuing it. We want to expand upon it and make a 3rd edition campaign setting for it." So they went and they got special permission from Wizards of the Coast to actually go and make a 3.0 version of BirthRight.
Wow.
And now, I was on a few, about 6 to 8 months ago, and people are making a 4th edition BirthRight campaign setting.
But there's tons of fan-made stuff out there for second.
There's tons of fan-made stuff. BirthRight.net is the domain, and it's got, adventures, it's got NPCs, it's got new domains, stuff like that.
Okay.
Going into my files to get to the BirthRight stuff.
So you've played BirthRight, right? Of course you have. So how did you use it? How did you come up with adventures? I mean, where do you start on something like this is what I'm trying to say.
It depends on what you really want to do. I like to keep things on a local scale. So my ideal thing is characters who are blooded but not regents and then working their way up to regency.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. That keeps it kind of grounded in reality, well, whatever fantasy is. It keeps it grounded.
It does.
Pretty much. You're not fighting world-shattering, things and all that kind of stuff, saving the world every day, which is I'm kind of against for a while.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah, I agree.
Till you get up there, I mean. But okay, yeah, keeping it local. That's a good suggestion. What about like scaling stuff? Say you start out with first levels, a whole bunch of first levels. How do you go about? I mean, you're not going to throw it on Shaylin Adam right away.
Oh no, definitely not.
Could you throw like ordinary aurochs and goblins and what have you at them, and they're not going to just like yawn and walk through them?
If you have like a regent character, they might, but you can always just throw more monsters at them.
True.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you'll survive for a little bit after until all your friends die.
I keep thinking this is the game that would justify me throwing a dragon at him at first level.
Well, you don't start out that much more powerful.
Okay, it's like almost. I mean,
but like what's a good maybe a cockatrice or a basilisk? They'd probably be able to survive that at first level.
You had to bring that one up again, didn't you?
Seriously.
Okay.
Seriously, no,
Yes.
not. I would a basilisk, really. Okay.
Well, stoning is kind of real good to stop people.
Yeah.
No matter how high you are.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
But I was thinking I'd say first level characters could probably fight 4 or 5 hit die creatures.
Okay.
Really? 4 or 5 bloodied characters could fight like 5 hit die creatures. Really?
Not bloodied. Not like if you're just going up against if you're going fresh up against like a boss monster, I would go up to like maybe 4 or 5. I've had second level characters just destroy 5 hit die creatures.
So yeah, so I could like throw a vampire at him.
Okay, Glenn. You're just looking for excuses to throw that stuff at him.
Well, I'm just trying to get the sense of scale here. That's all, It's like I've had those games where I go, whoa, it shouldn't have been 5 giant spiders. Oops, everybody's dead. You know?
Yeah. Should have played like 1 or 2, but yeah, you're basically saying like a party of first level blooded characters could probably take on, let's say an ogre lair. Let's go with that. Let's go with where it's basically just all basically 4 hit die ogres with females who fight like bugbears at 3+1, and some whelps who fight like at say hobgoblins at 1+1, and they could go through that and not sweat too much about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That gives me kind of an idea of how to, like I said, I hate to use the dreaded word balance, but
hey, it's not a swear word in 2nd edition.
That's
only
true. Well,
only to certain people.
That's true. I think of it more as scaling. It's just they always say, well, that just teaches them to run away. He says, yeah, but you got to have an idea of what they can handle too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, regents are definitely a little bit tougher than just everyone else.
Right.
So yeah,
blooded characters not so much. If you're just playing blooded characters, scions, you're not so much more powerful. You have like a few special abilities, but it's not going to be like super game breaking.
Right. It's basically you just have to keep in mind. Okay,
they're a little bit stronger. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, which means of course you can throw a little bit further at them.
Yeah. So what would challenge, say, like a 4th level character you could throw at first? Or maybe 3rd level character.
3rd level character?
In a normal campaign, what would challenge a 3rd level character? You could probably throw it at them at first, say if they're like all blooded.
Yeah. Oh, I would say if they're fresh, you could start them off fighting all 3rd level encounters.
Okay.
But if they're bloodied, I'd stick to like 2nd level character kind of challenges.
Well, I mean blooded, like they have the the powers.
Oh, see, when you guys say bloody, I think you mean like characters who are worn out.
No. We're talking like just plain old, ready to go, blooded characters from your campaign.
Yes.
Yeah, I would go up to like 1 or 2 more.
Say like levels. 4 or 5. We have 4 or 5 hit dice creatures like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
There's always going to be more. Well, usually, I mean, if you're fighting like a kind of a stronger monster, there's probably going to be more adventurers than monster, and that always helps to balance it out in the party's favor, because they can gang up on it and just beat the crap out of it.
Oh,
that's true.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
Well, that gives me a good idea. If you guys got ideas for like BirthRight, adventures, THACOshammer@gmail.com, 405-806-0555, and don't forget Dragon's Foot and PurpleWorm.org.
Yes.
Well, geez, we're about at the end of the show. I'm going to Northwest RPG Con. I might be looking for a BirthRight game.
It's a great game. Like I really like it. It's my favorite campaign setting, and I'm not a campaign setting guy, but like.
Yeah, but I mean, you managed to change my mind on this. It wasn't what I thought it was.
Yeah, it sucks because there's really not a lot of support, like from the corporate side of it, and
I think they just promoted it wrong too, because when I looked at it in the store, I'm going, oh, high level immortals crap. I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah, it's definitely you're more powerful, but you're not like so much more ridiculously powerful. And there are ways to gain more powers, but like that's really the DM should be in charge of scaling that and stuff like that, because you can steal people's blooded powers and increase your own.
Oh, that's true.
That would be a nice. No, I'm sorry. I just a thought I wanted to have. That would be the Highlander aspect of it to me.
Yeah.
Just if you've got like 1, maybe 2 characters that you're running through a BirthRight game, you could go that way. You could actually have them go and go after evil scions and take their powers. Like Duncan and Connor McLeod. Revisit.
I have a house rule. In my games where you can only perform blood theft if you shout there can be only one after you kill someone.
Oh. And, well, and also I like the fact that the other thing you changed my mind is these characters are part of the world.
Yeah, they are. They're not only
the big. People. They're not the stars.
No, they're not the only blooded people.
Yeah, they're not the ones who go and have like orcs for lunch, and everybody gives them, gold and flowers and all that kind of. They're regular adventurers like any other game.
Right.
It's just that the whole world is jacked up. About 5.
They're more special than normal people, but they're not more special than people of their ilk, I guess is the best way to say it.
That sounds about right. Fist of the North Star. No.
Yeah. You're already dead.
Yep. And then they will explode in gouts of blood. Yes.
Yeah. Now that's a power. Can I get that?
No.
1,000 Fist Fighting Frenzy. I'd love it. Do they have BirthRight? By the way, do they have BirthRight blooded monks? I mean,
there are no
monks.
monks.
I know there's no monks in second, but I thought maybe if they adapted the third or something. There should be, yes, super martial arts.
I haven't looked at the document for the 3.0 conversion is called the BRCS, the BirthRight campaign setting. I've not looked at it in a couple years, so I don't remember if I think any character can be blooded in BRCS.
But that would be great. If you get that wild martial arts like Big Trouble in Little China, where they're leaping in the air 15 feet and kicking doors down, and anyway, I'm stoked on this now. Okay, thank you, Crispy, for coming by and telling us about this.
No problem. And if anyone is looking to pick it up, I've never been able to find it for less than $40.
Yeah,
because this thing is rare. I got mine for like $7 at a used bookstore.
Yeah, that's because
10 years ago.
Came in at the tail end of the end of second edition, so yeah, it's going to be rare.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, anyway, it's about time to go, and you guys find BirthRight. God help you, or God love you. Just keep on gaming. Let's see. Don't forget your dice. Here's your character sheet. You can grab a drink on the way out. And for me, DM Glenn, and for DM Brian.
Hello. Goodbye.
Yeah, it's a goodbye this time.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
And say goodbye, DM Crispy. Thanks for coming by.
Goodbye, DM Glenn. See, I wasn't.
I thought it was Trask. Anyway,
you thought I was gonna go one way, but I went another.
Oh, see what I did there? Okay, and for me, I'll see you guys next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer. Bye-bye.
Bye.
No bye.
Peace.
The THACO's Hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find him on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at thacoshammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at thacoshammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. Also, you'll find us on the second edition forum at dragonsfoot.org, or you can give us a call, leave a message at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.